Said I'm pinch hitting for John Picanso, so I've cut this down by about 75%. I only changed one slide, and that was the very last one. And when we get to that, I'll share that with you. But anyway, John is really a great asset for veterinary services since he came on board several years ago. A lot of great things have happened in our IT arena. Certainly a lot of challenges left. I'll go through some of those. And this isn't really specific to veterinary services, but I think it's appropriate that we all have an appreciation for other things in the IT arena that's going on. I made reference to it as data sharing exchange initiatives. At least from my little part of the world, as we see more distributed systems, information out there, there's always a sense that as we invest more and more in traceability, that in fact everybody's got the information when we need it. Now, that's a great principle to have, but how's it going to happen? So I think if you looked at a pie and broke it into three big slices, this would be three key parts of it. Data standards, and Jim was part of this way back when on the paper-based ICBI. That really materialized or led into the initiative of data standards for electronic systems, and really focused most heavily on the Interstate Certificate of Veterinary Inspection data elements. A document was published in the Federal Register on the data standards last December. We did receive comments back, and the National Assembly commented on those, and some of those concerns are being addressed. But without any three of these, I don't think we can be successful in data sharing. Relatively new is data exchange standards. So if we know what pieces of information are being standardized, when it comes time to share data, how is that information going to be messaged or communicated to the appropriate players? A very high-level technical group that is referenced as Data Exchange Standards is a subcommittee of a U.S. Animal Health Committee, Information Standards Committee. And again, primary focus on messaging communication procedures for ICBI data as a starting point. Certainly not going to end there. Then another initiative that really VS tried to initiate almost 6-9 months ago on information sharing policy. So if we have the standards, the opportunity for compatibility, we have the technical communication protocols in place, what's going to direct when we share information? We might have a lot of differences of opinion when we share it. So really the policy is to help govern that. Certainly when there's a disease event, there's not much controversy. When there's issues about predicting the future and modeling and some of those issues, what information is shared becomes a little bit more controversial. So all of these issues need to be addressed, and if we cut the pie one more time, when all of this is in place, it would probably be test protocols. And we have the system to that degree where information can be shared, testing the capabilities. So I think that's a possibility of a futuristic type. Surveillance collaboration services. How many of you are somewhat familiar with what we call GDB, generic database? So many moons ago, VS put all their animal disease records in a, quote, generic database. This is the system that was brought on board a couple years ago to replace GDB. SCS. At this point in time, the integration, the installs have been completed across the entire country. The plan was to achieve this in the next 12 months. Actually, We're a year ahead of schedule in getting those installations made. The green represents that every state, whether it's a state or federal or both, have the product utilized. The states, as well as the federal installs that run for these states, all 50 states, or not all 50, but some of them are regionalized, but the federal installs are at NITSE, National Information Technology Center, Federal Computing Center in Kansas City. The states that are using the application, those installs provided by USDA, are also at Kansas City. There are some states that are running their own systems locally that are provided by the same company, but those are referred to as Core 1 systems. Everything that was developed or provided through the contractual arrangement with Core 1 is referred to as SCS. So just, I think, a point of congratulations for John Picanso and his IT group for getting this product installed and that far along. He definitely focused on installations with the understanding that integration would be the next step and more products and reports. So right now they've got data entry on the top left, integration with MIMS, spreadsheet updates, the VSLS laboratory submissions are futuristic, will be in the future. The laboratory testing data, the results are near release. Outputs, a lot of information is already provided to the users of the system. Probably the biggest next project is in the lower right-hand corner in regards to Cognos reporting. How many of you are familiar with Cognos? So I'm about in the same boat. But it's basically a report writing, intelligent type business tool that really allows the users to take all that data and generate outputs, sophisticated flexibility, so they can really make use of the data. That's a high priority in the progress of things with SCS, so the end users can generate their own reports and things like that that they need to utilize. This slide is a good example of the growth in records. You see in one of the middle columns, if you can see it, 7-day difference, 1,781,000 records growth in the number of records in a 7-day period. Over a 30-day period, over 4 million records. Now, that is continuing to increase. The point is, it's a new system, but it's certainly growing as far as the number of records being put on the system. Just another slide on Cognos, the reporting options, and those that are using the system, I think, will be pretty excited about those capabilities. State lids, this is really maybe more of a traceability slides. Lids, location identifiers. So on the SCS side, it still integrates to obtain a premises ID number. It can also be used to generate location identifiers. If the state elects to use lids, those lids are automatically sent to the repository behind the scene. And for those of you that use SCS, there was a pretty extensive Q&A document that we were finding very helpful to the state users as well. EMRS is making good progress. So USDA Veterinary Services used to be on the Lotus platform. Those systems, while we still support Lotus Note applications a little bit. They're going to be entirely unplugged or not supported at all early next year. So our previous version of emergency management response system was really developed in the Lotus Notes platform. So it's being redone in the Microsoft product. And again, that system is making good progress as far as new information. The MIMS mobile information system. How many of the states that are here use MIMS? For quite a few of you, so you're well versed on MIMS. It certainly came on initially for TB testing, and it's still used a lot for TB testing, but it's found different uses. Brucellosis certainly, but some of the export guys are using it as a data entry inventory system that automatically makes reports and things, but certainly a highly used system. For those that use it for TB testing, brucellosis as well, but maybe more so on the TB side, well integrated with electronic RFID tags, especially when you're handling those animals the second time, matching up inventories. It's worked extremely well. So I'll throw in some more traceability perspectives. Maybe 4 years ago, 4 plus or minus years ago, USDA obtained 1.5 million RFID tags. We only have about 100,000 of those tags left. So they have certainly been highly used in our programs, and the integration of the MIMS, Mobile Information Management System, has made that very attractive. Veterinary Services Process Streamlining System, where we talk mostly about, at least for my part, the electronic ICVIs, but it is also the umbrella infrastructure for import-export permits and things like that. Some updates last year to help the ICVI, electronic ICVI module, more user-friendly. While USDA certainly supports their electronic ICVI system, the objective of where we are at today is to support the use of private solutions as well, so that if accredited veterinarians or states have the opportunity to consider multiple products that are successful based on different preferences, that's a win-win for everybody. And while I've talked a lot about SCS, we certainly try to integrate with other herd management or animal health information systems. USA Herds is a good example, where almost comparable capability as far as the integration of those systems with VS repositories and so forth. So in a nutshell, that kind of ties all the information together. MIMS, SCS, the laboratory messaging system, management response, and the reporting tools. I think it opens the door nicely, because I'd like to learn more about Ag Connect, and I understand that's the next topic on the agenda.